Welcome to the School of Wedding Photography. I'm here with Audrey Neracoulis. Audrey is a Paris-based photographer whose work has appeared in Vogue, Glamour, Harpers Bazaar, and many wedding blogs, including Style Me Pretty. She is currently the subject of a TV documentary about wedding photography. Audrey, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Bonjour, thank you for having me. Doing good.
You're welcome. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, tough question. So I'm based in Paris. I'm French. Was born here. Was raised in the south of France. Love the charm of Provence. I lived a bit in the US, working in marketing for Universal Music.
Okay.
Hated my job.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't love New York, but mostly hated my job, which I know is linked. And then I came back in Paris for a summer visit. And I decided not to go back to New York and to my office job, which was a really good one, but I was looking for an idea to stay in France, and I was kind of lost back then. And I had some American friend visiting me in Paris telling me like, hey, because it was 10 years ago. And back then people could not take selfie because we didn't have cameras on, our Nokia.
Phones, yeah.
So back then you will give your small camera to a random stranger in the street, hoping you wouldn't run away with it to take photos. And usually you are cropped like here and here.
Yeah.
So she told me like, hey, why don't you take photos for Americans, because like there's people visiting who want good photos.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So at first photography was really like a marketing idea, just trying to get out of my office job. I never touched a camera, didn't know anything about it. And then, so that's it. I just shot my friends, shot some of our friends who paid me a little at first. And then it actually worked right away. I created a website, really bad name, really bad website, but right away it worked. And that's how I got into photography. And I was learning, to be honest, with each client I was learning. I didn't know shit.
Sure.
I was on automatic at first, just pretending. And then you got aperture value, and then you go in manual, because I studied on digital. And then it built from that. And then once I had a client who's like, yeah, we're going to do photos around Paris, but we're actually going to exchange vows because we're going to renew our vows, whatever anniversary was.
Yep.
I was like, sure. And she had a white dress and a bouquet. So I just shot it. It was the same for me. And then clients believed I was doing weddings. So I faked it. I'm like, yeah, of course I do weddings. It just built up, like clients just keep coming with more requests, and you just pretend it's part of your job, and you just go into elopements, weddings, destination weddings, whatever. You just go up like that.
Yeah. What was the corporate work you were doing? What was that?
I was working at Universal Music in marketing.
Marketing background.
In New York, marketing, And because I went into this job thinking I'm a people person, and I had this dream of just having teams, like you see in TV shows, like having these meetings and like doing all this, like, I don't know, meeting people, especially in music. And I ended up in a cubicle in New York. Even my boss, who was across the hall, she would send me an email to speak to me. So I was desperate in this job. Like one day I went to the bathroom, close the door, and start crying because I was so lonely. Like people, especially in New York, like people don't even gather for lunch. They do takeout. They get deliveries at their desk of like bad Chinese food. Like they stay in their cubicles.
Yes.
And I was like, this cannot be my life.
Yeah.
And I remember even one day I had a meeting with my boss, who, in my opinion, had a shitty life. He was working nonstop, like just shitty life in his cubicle. And one day he had a meeting with me. He was like, if you work really hard, one day you will have my position, my job. And I was like,
oh no.
But I don't want your life. And you tell me I have to work really hard to get. Like, I remember this discussion in this like Chinese restaurant was like, that's not what I want. And I did a French school called Sciences Po, which is like a very difficult school. Then I had 2 masters. Like I worked so hard to get this type of a job. And then I was like, I was wrong. That's not what I want. Yeah. So I was really looking for something where I'm back to like connecting with people. Just, something more simple, because at this meeting, they're speaking of like $1 million budget and everything. And I was like, don't care. I just didn't care. Like it's
not
I was
as
wrong.
Important. Yeah.
I just wanted to connect with people.
And so the life you've got now, are you happy with that?
Of course I am.
Yeah.
Because like I connect with people. It is a happy time, like weddings. I'm lucky that I'm a destination photographer because I'm here, and all of my clients are either Australians, Americans, from Hong Kong. So I am their destination weddings. So destination weddings are usually not stressful.
Yeah.
It's not like you do a wedding back home with like 300 guests that you don't know. People who choose to do destination weddings, it's because they want something intimate or just about them. So I don't have like the crazy bride stories because people who choose to get married in Europe, it's usually drama free. So it is fun. Like I'm not, I don't do weddings with like 500 guests, a team of like 5 photographers, like all that I think is stressful for me.
Yeah.
My clients are pretty chill just because by the nature of coming here already, it's a certain type of clients. And also they rely on me a lot because it's a destination for them. So I do have a great relationship. I'm not the kind of photographers you hire and I'm part of the staff. Like they really have a relationship with me. They rely on my expertise. They want to hear about my opinion on everything, which can be time consuming because I feel like a planner sometimes, but I really connect with them. And on the day off, they really turn to me like, what do we do now? Because they're lost, they're in France, they don't speak the language, they don't know the city. So I just love being the boss. Because I tell them like everything and they're super appreciative. So, and I do have, this personal relationship with them, but I don't know. So far I haven't found another job. And also like you can see the happiness right now. To give you an idea, when I was a kid, I told my parents I wanted a bakery to sell bread. Just because like I love, even now, the feeling when I go in a French bakery. If you've been in one, you know how amazing it is.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking I wanted to be the girl selling bread and croissant because you can see people being happy like right away. Like you do something, you sell it, and right away you can tell people are happy.
Yeah.
And that's what I lost in the corporate job. Like you do your job, nobody's appreciative. It's kind of boring. You don't have a nice feedback because there's nothing nice. There's no nice feedback when you do like a report. There's nothing fun about it.
Yeah.
When you do photos, people are paying me to be here to take their photos and they're thanking me. Sometimes they have gifts. Like the feedback is instant.
Yes.
When I send the gallery, I have amazing. So I know it's my ego speaking here, but I just love this job just for that. Sometimes when I do corporate photography, when I say corporate, it's like catalogs for brands or like editorials. Or I love this project on a creative level. But you don't really have a feedback. It's still a company. They hardly say thank you. They're just like, okay, photo number 125, you need to change that and Photoshop that. And I'm kind of like, oh, but they didn't tell me they loved the work. That's why I love private clients because the feedback is like, it pumped my ego like crazy.
Audrey, I found it interesting your background is in marketing because you're known for your strength in branding. And my question that's burning in my mind is, why does branding matter?
I think branding is everything. I think there's millions of photographers, maybe not, but that's how I feel every year with like no competitors.
Yes. Yeah.
With digital cameras, even film cameras, everybody can be a good photographer. Like there's tutorials online. There's so many things to be a good photographer. You can do template websites, like you can do pretty decent website pretty quickly. But branding, to me, it's about what people are going to remember when they either visit your website, your Instagram page. Like it's something they're going to like, in a few months, they're going to think back about your brand, about your website and think about you for their own wedding or shoot. I think it's a feeling that you leave to people. So it has to be, I think, close to your personality because you can't fake it. People will know. You can have a beautiful website, but then when you show up or if you interact with people, if you're just not at the image of your website, they're going to know something is off. Even with age of Instagram and a lot of people being fake, I feel the clients can tell when something is fake. So to me, branding, it's really the reflection of your personality and kind of your ethic that you put through your entire work. To me, it's a way to be remembered. Again. Yeah. A lot of logo with like calligraphy, a lot of website templates. Like I can recognize templates when I see people's website. But what stick with me is when there's something consistent and I feel I know the person. And it has to be real. Because again, you can just work with someone to do beautiful logo. But then if your work is a different spirit, if the way you do emails is different, people are going to feel there's something off. And I think in wedding photography, because there's so many competitors, sometimes price, we feel like, some photographers feel they need to lower their price just to be seen in the competition because people are doing list of photographers. If you want to do a good living, you need to charge accordingly. And I think this is where branding is so good, is because you can charge because of you and who you are. Because really, realistically, if you think of the price of photography, it could be as low as your competitors want to make it. If you want to charge a proper price, you need to sell yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot just sell photos. You need to sell yourself. You need the client to want to have you at the wedding, like as Audrey, as Nicolas, I don't know. The best example is Rose Villa. They want Rose Villa.
Yeah.
No matter the price, and we know it's expensive. So that's it. They want to have a certain person. So you need to sell yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
I know some people are not comfortable with that, but I think that's it. If you want to charge like a good living, because when I say good living, I've been doing that for 10 years. So I know for some photographers, they do that for 2 or 3 years and they just don't see like the price being that important. But if you want to survive for many, many years and the living out of it, you need to know how much to
price
charge
yourself. Yes. Yeah. So let's talk about it. How do you go about creating, what are the steps or the key sort of things you need to do to create a brand that is recognizable in a crowded market?
Yeah. To be honest, at first, I think it's pretty natural, like it's what you are attracted to, like the first time when you do shoots. When I say that is like I did a lot of stage shoot when I started, and I know some people complain about stage shoot, and there's like a big debate about are stage shoot right, or is it lying to the client, or I don't think it is, because when I do stage shoot, I'm just not showing up and I let the stylist do everything and I just shoot it. I actually plan the stage shoot and I style them. So by doing them, I'm already going to the direction that I love, and this is defining my style. And I know doing stage shoot helped me direct my client also in certain taste and style. So I really define my clients by the style shoot I was creating and showing. So I think to me it's personal work. Doing a style shoot is shooting what you want to do. And this is already going into the direction of your brand, because you realize that you go always certain ways. So I know I love boudoir. I love like very feminine portraits. And I did some style shoot with that because I had no clients who wanted to undress in front of me. So I had to do style shoots. And then by showing more and more of that, then now I know I'm attracting clients that want to do boudoir photos, that want to do boudoir portraits even on their wedding day. Yesterday bride, I was looking for the dress. I opened and I saw tons of lingerie and lace hanging. I knew she wanted some photos during the getting ready, so we don't even speak about it. At one point, I just kick the makeup artist, kick the husband. If my assistant is a male, I kick him out. And then, hey, let's do a few photos in this. Because I know that's why it shows me. It's not even something spoken.
Yes.
All of my brides, at one point, I just kick everybody out for like 15 minutes and we do some boudoir photos on a wedding day. Okay. So that's something that I did style shoot about that. Because again, nobody wanted to be naked in front of me. And now that's why people are coming to me. Like every single bride wants like a few portraits in a lingerie or...
Right.
So I know style shoot helped me define my brand, because people see me as a boudoir photographer as well. Even if I do weddings, they still say that. So I think this is it. Like I had this idea of like I love doing that. I did it in style shoot, and now people see my brand as a boudoir photographer. And for everything website related, I did a lot of work of like on Pinterest.
Yeah.
I was gathering all these images I liked, and for months I kind of didn't know Pinterest when it arrived, like when it started. I was just crazy for it. Now I don't really look at it anymore because it's overwhelming and just I don't know. You just feel like crap when you watch Pinterest. You feel like you're the worst. But at first I was gathering all this folder, and the day I hired a web designer to do my website, she asked me to go through everything and to see what was like the tendency or the theme. And I saw black and white. I saw like Vogue cuts, like all these magazine cuts. Black and white, boudoir, of course, a lot of naked people. And that's how I created my website. It was trying to like make sense of all these photos I was accumulating for years.
Okay.
And then you just define yourself, because when someone tells me like what's your style, that's the worst question for me, because it's very difficult for me to define my style. You need to like take all these visuals and try to make sense of everything that you've been gathering for so long. And we are visual people, so we all have this. I used to read pages of magazine, now it's Pinterest. Sometimes I take screen capture on my phone, but it does make sense if you look at it
Yes.
Like an expert, it does make sense. You see your trend, and that's how you build your brand. And the last thing will be social media. Social media has been huge for me to create my brand because every day I try to put one photo on Instagram. I try to think in terms of grid, like the colors and all of that, just to make sense as a brand, but also the stories, like putting myself out there in stories, because I realize people, for whatever reason, they love to hear my French accent. They love to know about my dog, my boyfriend, where I live. It's always surprising. I just moved apartment in Paris, and I can see the numbers. I see my stats. It was insane. I can put the most beautiful edited photo on Instagram. If I put an iPhone video of my new apartment, I was showing people around, I saw the numbers just going up. People want to know who's behind, which was like crappy. It was my apartment with boxes. So the reaction of people was just great because, again, they see what's fake. Like they love to see curated, beautiful photos.
Yeah.
But they love even more to know who's behind it.
Who you are. Yeah.
And my clients, they know me. We speak before. Of course, we spend the day together. Very often, we have a relationship after, and we keep having cafes when they come back in Paris. We have a relationship.
Yeah.
But I do have followers from all over the world who will never meet me, maybe, and they love to see the behind the scenes. So I think even the social media, even the casual videos of my home, is still synced to my brand. Like I only show what I want to show, and I show what it's a reflection of what people think of me.
So I was going to ask that, is there a consistency sort of across your social media, your communications to clients, your website? Are they all sort of, there's a similar vibe?
So I don't have like an Excel spreadsheet of like I should do that and put this color, but yes, in my mind, it's always connected. Even the way I dress is always like, this is black, it's white or pink. Like I'm always kind of dressed the same. Yeah. It's actually because I like it, but on social media, even when I do photo shoot and put it out there of myself, even the way I'm dressed is linked to the colors of my website. It does make sense. It's pretty much connected. So yeah, I think it's good to be consistent, but that's why you need to be true to your personality. Otherwise, at one point, the system is gonna like, it's like if you're not true to your personality and your branding, you can't fake it for long. Like one point, people are gonna be like, hey, on our social media, like on our, I don't know, live stories, she looks completely different from her website. So you can't really make a difference. I'm in Paris, capital of fashion. I love fashion. Like that's why my website looks like a magazine. That's what I asked my designer. I want it to look like Harpers Bazaar, Vogue, like in the front and the look.
Yeah.
But if I was shooting in the, I don't know, even in Provence, in fields with girls with flower crowns, it wouldn't make sense. Like the website, just the photos in this website just will clash. It wouldn't make sense. So you need to be consistent. Again, you need to find what inspires you, and then it would just make sense. Because again, I don't overthink everything I'm posting, especially on Instagram. Like photos, of course, are curated. I don't put any iPhone photos or that on the grid, but the live videos or the stories, I do with my iPhone. I don't know. I never upload professional photos in it with like nicely subtitles or anything. It's just videos, but it still makes sense with my brand.
Yes, yeah. If someone's starting out I guess what I'm wondering is the way you have cultivated this sort of consistent style across your presentation to the world, your brand, is this something you've consciously done, or you've kind of just arrived at this point over time?
No, I don't think it was conscious at first. Again, it was just me being me, and like I'm Parisian, girly, I love cake, I love pink, flowers. So it is something that I was showing, and then it was part of my style.
Yeah.
I think what really helped me define my branding is when I start shooting film. Because when you shoot film, you need to collaborate with your lab. Mine is Carmencita in Spain. And you are working on the editing, the colors, and pretty quickly you arrive to a pretty pink color to my photos. And so with my lab, every time I was sending roles, they wanted me to like write, to describe the style I wanted. And every time I was describing the same for the hue and the magenta. And so then as a joke, we called it Princess. So and every time I will call, it's like, oh, it's Audrey the Princess. Yeah. So this joke kind of And now like people like in Paris, the vendors like, oh, it's Princess Audrey. So we just always have fun of that. And that kind of defined me at one point because
Yes,
the way
okay.
I was shooting film, this princess setting, whatever you want to call it, that's how people saw me. But to be honest, now I'm kind of stuck with it. Like that's how people see me. So for my clients, I know I'm losing like clients who want like pure documentary style, very harsh, I don't know, lighting. They don't even know I do documentary because, of course, on wedding day, I do everything I do, like everything you see on Instagram. But I do documentary because when the ceremony starts and cocktail, dinner, and whatever, party, I do documentary like everybody else, but it's not something I show. So I know I'm losing on all these clients who don't care for the pink, who don't care for like the editorial, who don't care for boudoir. They don't know that I can do something else. So when you define a brand, it's great because you attract the perfect clients, but you also exclude a lot of persons. But you need to be fine with that because I am fine with that because I have enough clients. So you just need to be careful not to be too exclusive and to exclude too many clients.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. How do you define being a successful wedding photographer?
My tax lawyer will say money. I think it's very personal because there's days I feel like I made it. Like I feel amazing because I just received an amazing review, an amazing email. Like yesterday, like I got like a magazine I've been published on. I have like 3 pages. I'm like, yeah. And then the day after, I just feel like shit because I've been on Pinterest and seen some amazing work. And I'm like, oh, I need to work even more. So it's very difficult because it's like I really go, even within one day, I can be like, hey, oh.
Yeah.
So very tough to say. For sure, the feedback of my clients is, I would say the feedback of my clients make me feel like I made it sometime. I guess also it's when people come to me like you did, like to ask about my experience, because I still feel like I'm learning. And like still I was asked, for example, to speak at a conference by my lab, and then I also did a workshop who was very successful. And this is when you feel like, oh, okay, then maybe I know a thing or two that people are asking me for my advice. So this is where I think it's a success when people actually come to you and ask about, I don't know, your photography, your system, your branding, because it feels like pretty lonely to be a photographer because you learn by yourself. There is course to learn technical photography, there is business school, but there's not something to be like, okay, be a wedding photographer and just combine everything. So you're really learning by yourself, by YouTube for anything technical, by blogs like yours to learn about business. Instagram, of course, is huge by just looking at other people. But in the end of the day, just by yourself in front of your computer and trying to like invent yourself and invent your journey. So it's a pretty lonely job. So when people come and ask me about advice, this is why I feel like I must do something right.
Yeah. I read something that you wrote online, which was about blogging and social media, and you said that you can tell there's a huge difference when you share often. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'm trying to Instagram every single day to do stories. If I don't do stories for 3 days in a row, I receive message from concerned persons, followers, be like, is everything okay? Just because I have been online. So you need to be consistent just for like, and here I'm not technical, but I know on Instagram, if you don't, or even blog, but if you don't, all this SEO, if you don't blog often, like, I don't know, Google forget about you, Instagram forget about you. So there's a technical part, but even the human interaction, people need to have this like constant news from you, constant feed. And it does create this relationship with you. Like, even me, like I followed photographers I loved, and suddenly, I don't know the reason, maybe personal, they just stopped sharing for like 6 months, 1 year, and then they try to come back. And me, I lost interest. It's like, I don't know, shows on HBO, like if you have to wait for 1 year sometime in between 2 episodes of like Game of Thrones, and I'm like, yeah, I moved on. I said it because I lost interest in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know like some photographers like who stop for 6 months, whatever reason, it's true. Like it's awful to say, but I moved on. We're in an age where people want to like constant feedback, and you want the story to be told. And I feel it's kind of tricky to think, but that's why I do show some personal stories on my Instagram. But I need to feel a personal connection with them, even if sometimes it's fake and they don't show all of our personal issues, of course. But I need to see like they are still there. When they're gone and they come back, like if nothing happened, I feel they're lying to me. I know it's weird, but I feel they're not being, I don't know, open. Like when they just disappear for a long time.
Yeah, okay.
So being consistent, I think you just show that you're just a human person behind.
Yeah,
and I see my clients, my former clients and future clients follow every single thing I say or do. Because when I meet them, it's like, so how's your dog and how that and and how was your holiday? Like they don't miss anything.
Yeah.
So sometimes I need to think about being careful about what I say. But even when it's like casual thing and you think like nobody's seen it, like it's pretty impressive. And also I did a retreat last year when it's like a workshop kind of. And I was really surprised because people that I didn't expect to be following it speak to me about it. Like everybody's watching everybody. So that's why you need to be consistent and to blog often, because even if it's fake, people think you're in a good shape if you're blogging often, or if you're sharing often, or if you're doing stories. Because they feel it means you have business, it means you have like a healthy relationship, like anything. Like when you disappear for a long time, it's just, I don't know. We're in an age where people are oversharing. I'm the first one to do it, but when you disappear, it just sends a weird message that your business is either not doing well or that there's something weird.
Okay. So you've been photographing for 10 years, and a lot of photographers I've been speaking to lately have brought up the topic of burnout, meaning sort of getting beyond being able to shoot weddings. How do you keep the fire alive? How do you keep your interest?
Me, I would say that my main burnout reason would be physically. I just find it physically sometimes it's difficult. Like yesterday was really cold, windy, rainy. Like I know at one point it was bad, but my couple was perfect. Everything was perfect. They're trying to like struggle in the wind and everything. And it's Paris, so there's millions of tourists. Like tourists just walking behind. And I just said the worst swearing. Like I was like, oh, and my assistant was like, okay, you're tired. And I'm like, so sometimes it's more like physical that I feel burnout. So I need to chill. So the burnout for me is physical. I didn't feel the burnout yet because every year I kind of have a new project. I see that every 2 or 3 years I'm kind of evolving in my business, and it's not something again on an Excel spreadsheet. I'm not that organized. But I just listen to my clients. So again, at first it was just a couple of photos, and I could do that like every single day, being at the Eiffel Tower, like always doing the same thing. And then someone had a request, and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go for it. And then it evolved into weddings, which are more different than the same shoot over and over. And then last year I listened. So then I did boudoir because I can feel like girls wanted that. So I do evolve with the clients. So I don't have this burnout of always doing the same thing because I listen to what people want. And then last year I decided to do retreats, which is like I organize this. Can you hear me?
It dropped out there for a little bit. So you were saying about retreats?
Yeah, so I kind of felt like my clients wanted, once they got married in Paris, they still had this dream of Paris. They are still following me every single day and commenting everything I was doing. So I can tell they couldn't let go of their Parisian dream. So I organized this retreats for like 5 days. I will spend with them, like doing a tea time at the Ritz, doing photos around Paris, cooking class, flower class. So I created that, which is different from photography, but it's still linked because it's my client that I shot their wedding. I'm still shooting them during these 5 days. But now it's evolving into, I'm organizing tours around Provence, Paris, and Italy. So it's still the same business, but I just listen to my clients because I can tell they wanted to come back, not for a wedding anymore because they're married, but they still needed to get this little shot of Paris once in a while.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, this is why I don't have a burnout, because I feel pretty organically, but every 2 or 3 years, I have a new idea coming from their demand.
Yeah.
And just it's evolving. So right now I'm working really hard on these tours that I'm organizing. So this is why there's not a burnout. It's just you naturally evolve, and also I evolve because of my clients' needs are changing. At one point I'm proposing video now, like I can do short videos for my clients. So again, they have needs, so I just adapt, because of course some person will say, no, I'm a photographer, that's all I do. But when I have new requests, I say, yes, I can do it. And then I learn it. Because usually when they book you, you have a few months. So when they ask me like video and all these things, I'm always like, yes, I can do it. I do it. Of course I do it.
Yeah.
And then I just freak out. I hang up. I'm like,
how do I do it?
Yeah. So then, and this thing I just drop, and things I just love doing. So yeah, my business is evolving, and also only years can do it, but you meet vendors who just push you to evolve. And you get like bigger planners who just send you across the world to the wedding. It's also the random meetings that you have through your career who help you evolve. So this is why there's no burnout, because you surround yourself by people who are challenging you.
Yes.
And I think, and of course it's easier for me because I'm in Paris and I'm kind of central. Like people come here to have amazing experiences, so they push me to have new ideas. If you're doing senior portraits in Texas, I'm not saying it's as easy to just have new ideas all the time. I know I'm lucky to be here. It's in demand. Europe is pretty small, so I can be in Paris, Provence, Italy. Like it's pretty easy to have like a variety of shoots. So that's interesting.
Yeah. If you were starting again in wedding photography, what would you do differently or do more of?
First, I would change my name, my business name, because nobody can pronounce it.
Okay.
But because when you start, you don't think you're gonna make it, and that's what I say to everybody. You can change your website, you can change many things, but your business name you can't. So really think about it. Mine suck. It doesn't prevent you from being successful or not, but I would have changed my name. But I guess I will have network more. Because when I started, first I was really shy, and I'm still shy. And I felt I couldn't ask for help. Like I wasn't asking stylists, I wasn't asking florists to help me. I did everything by myself, which is time consuming and you do a lot of mistakes. But as I give you this advice, I realize that when you start, to be honest, nobody wants to work with you. So you have to do a lot of things by yourself, like because people don't trust you, like because you're too small. So people just don't listen to you. So you have to do everything. But I guess even now I'm still not really good at networking because I don't want to let go. Like I still want to do all of my emails, all of my editing, all of everything. Even when I do a style shoot, I want to be the stylist. So I know it's something I should have worked on back then. I still need to work on now. It's because I'm too control freak. So I think it's better to have a team because it does help you like grow exponentially, like way bigger and faster.
Yeah.
So, but I know it's my personality. I'm a pretty lone wolf. Like I just don't like to work in team.
Yeah.
So still like try to find a team. Even if I know like the big names, they won't even look at you or listen to you. Yeah. Try to find people who are starting as well and just grow together.
Yeah.
Because then it's a system to support each other because this stylist will become huge and this planner will have weddings. So I guess this was my mistake to just stay by myself.
Yeah.
And which is now one of my fortes to have a personal connection with my clients. I'm not the type of photographers who have, I don't have a planner who's sending me 10 weddings a year. Like I know for sure this planner is going to send me all of their business. I just don't have this personal connection. So every year I need to like renew my contracts. And my clients, what's good is that I don't rely also on someone else's business who could collapse or who could change their mind and just like fuck, suddenly I lost 10 clients because this planner is gone.
Yeah.
I have direct connection with the client.
Yeah.
But I know it's just slower. Like you just feel lonely. Like you're just behind this small computer like
yeah.
So I think like a supporting team, I know it's huge, but also I know it's also random sometimes. You just meet the right planner at the right time. when they are just starting as well and they are open to ideas and to grow together. But I guess this is what I'm missing.
Yeah.
With it. Like every time I need to like reinvent myself and to reconnect so I would say, try to like
is that something that you want to change now even?
Yeah, I would love to trying, but it's not as easy because that's the thing when some planner stylists, they already have their team. Like they have 2 or 3 photographers they already work with, 2 or 3 band, 2 or 3 caterer, whatever. There's not really a reason for them to change because especially planners, they need a strong trust, and they need to be used to someone, which makes sense because planner is a worst job. They have so much responsibility. When they present someone, they want to make sure the person is going to be the right fit and they're going to be easy to work with. So it's very difficult to break into this recommendation list. What happens usually, like for me, most of the time, it's a client who really wants me, bring me on the job. The planner is like, who are you? And then you do a good job and then they like you and then they recommend you again. Yeah, but at first it's always random. Again, it's a client who brings me here.
Yeah.
Like, the client hire me and then they introduce me to their planner. Who at first it's not a really warm welcome because they're just like, I don't know you, I don't know what you want. I don't know if you're going to be easy to work on the day off.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's when I worked with big planners that I dream of working before. Again, planners that you email, they don't even reply to you. And then you like end up working with them. I know the pressure is pretty high because they have their team, they have their network, and it's very difficult to break into this system. So again, it's just years of experience. And if you have a personal connection with your clients and they hire you, they bring you on the job. But I know it's random. It's not like something you can count on always. Just sometimes you will be in this amazing venue because a client is bringing you. They happen to have like this planner that you've been trying to connect for years. So it just sometimes it's this random connection. And I know I can visualize some weddings that change my path and my career. Like, because you do this, you do your daily thing. Because I can give you all the tips, but again, if this planner don't want to talk to you, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't really force it. But sometime randomly I will have a wedding and I know it changed my career because I met this planner, she liked me, she recommended for a wedding, maybe 1 year, 2 years later, but then you start to have this relationship. So it does take time.
Yes.
Like when people who are starting ask me for advice, I can tell you everything I did and you can try to replicate, or I can give you advice, but there's one thing that you can't go without, it's time, which I know people don't want to hear. They want like a magical thing. But even the retreat I did last year, like I had a partnership with the Ritz in Paris, the Crillon, like all these very luxurious brands. If I did that 5 years ago, nobody would have even answered the phone.
Yeah.
So it does take time. I've been in Paris for 10 years. If you do a wedding in Paris, even if you don't hire me, there's no way you can avoid me. You're going to see my photos, like because I worked in pretty much every hotel. People know me. So that took time. Like you can shop now in Paris and try to like replicate my website and contact all the same planners. They don't know you. It's just going to take time. So sometimes it's not secret recipe, it's just being here for a lot of years. And even now, there's still like planners or, I don't know, people I try to connect with, they won't even acknowledge me. And then maybe in 2 years, we're going to work together and suddenly they're going to love me. So it just, you need to suck it up sometimes because sometimes you feel like, why? Like, please trust me.
Yeah.
But they just won't because they have their own network. And I see like, I don't know, for example, the Ritz, like years ago, I would have dreamed to like do a wedding at the Ritz, and now I do wedding at the Ritz all the time. And I play cool about it because now it's an easy thing, but a few years ago, it was my goal. And now I have a personal connection with them. It just took time. I didn't do anything special. It's just they keep seeing my face at like events, sometimes a small elopement, or again, by being consistent, always be gracious, always be nice, easy to work with. Like suck it up. But one day people will notice. Like you can't force it really.
Yeah. It's a relationship, isn't it? And relationships take time to develop, no matter who they are with.
Yeah, because it's a very human business. So people need trust. It's not, again, we're not tax lawyer. It's not numbers. Like you just need to. They need to feel good about you. Yeah. Because my work is good. Someone else's work is good. We all have good work. Yeah. Like except if you suck or you did something like you're psycho and you did something wrong, but everybody is pretty much, because I help psycho stories where people are like listing someone because they did something wrong, but it's pretty rare. Like we are pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
The difference is just being here for a long time, always gracious. They need to feel safe. And I feel the same. Like I have makeup artists each week emailing me like, hey, I'm a new makeup artist intern. We love to work with you. I'm always like, oh, thanks for thinking about me. Will I recommend them? No, because I just have already 2 or 3 names I'm sending. I don't want to take risks sending someone else to my clients I never seen working, don't know. They might be really good. I can't take a chance.
Yeah.
On clients. It will happen sometime like randomly because all of my makeup artists are booked, and then I will go in this list.
Yeah.
Even me, I do the same. So what I see planners doing, I do the same. Like I have a team, it's working. Like I know what the result is going to be. It's going to help my work. I always go there. So it is human. We all do the same. So you just need to be consistent, gracious. Just don't be like, oh, why don't you want to speak to me? Like just the drama about it. Just suck it up, smile, and in your mind you're like, okay, maybe next year. Like there's a shadow I want to work in France. I did 1 shoot last year, and then I keep having requests from clients to go there. I mean, from planners, sorry. And that's the second time I don't book this chateau, and I'm like, but you know what? Maybe in 2 years it will happen. But every time I'm like, oh no, that's fine. Another time, like I'm always gracious about it, even if inside I'm just burning up.
Yeah.
Always be cool because the planner will remember that.
Yeah.
In a few. Suck it up.
Yeah. Where do you want to go with your business in the next 5 years or 10 years?
I still want to do photos, like pretty much the same thing. For sure, I'm developing this it's still based on photos, but these tours.
With what, sorry?
Because I love the tours, the retreats.
Yes, yeah.
Because the wedding day is a quick floating day, like it's going fast, but I love having the clients back and just doing tours with them for days and taking their photos and showing them around like Paris or Provence. So still linked to photography, but I would love to be in contact more with my clients and longer. Workshop, no. I did one last year. I did not enjoy it so much.
Why was that?
Trying not to say bad things. Just the pressure that some photographers who attend workshop feel. Just first, I never attended a workshop myself because I don't really enjoy the idea of being like 10 shooting the exact same thing. I did some one-to-one about posing or things but nothing reading related. When I did this, I just didn't like the competitive spirit that a few photographers had of like just elbowing others. Like everybody was like so nice. Just a few person just made me like, I don't want to do it.
Okay.
Like just too much pressure. Because of course they have so much pressure into like succeeding and. But just I didn't like the process of being like I feel like I was a cop. Okay, you have 10 minutes. You need to move on. Leave this person's. Like I just felt I was a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
But and also like I love. I prefer like I do mentoring 1-to-1, and I just prefer that because you really answer people's needs, and we sit at my table and I really like go over your business and share. But to do like a class for like 10 persons. I don't know. It just doesn't. In my opinion, it just doesn't make sense. And also, they all have the same photos in the end. Like I don't know. It's not myself. I'd never attended a workshop, and by doing one, I understand why now. Sorry, I hope I'm not killing everybody's workshop marketing, but it's just 1-to-1 I believe in because it makes sense, and you have like unique visuals, and we all have unique stories. So I just don't see how you can go to a class of 10 persons and get something. And also because of the personalities, like some person are just overwhelming everybody else, and I guess I didn't like to be this on the other side.
Audrey, thank you for today. If people want to follow you online, where can they find you?
Instagram. Forget about Facebook. Audrey Paris Photo, and this is where I share all of my work and my stories.
Audrey Paris Photo. Okay, great. And your website is?
Le secret d'Audrey So
Okay.
yeah, go on Instagram because I know nobody can type it. But this is why I told you I have a bad name because it's a French one.
Yes.
And there's even an apostrophe, like it's a nightmare. So from Instagram, go on my website.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Audrey. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Nicholas.